Hey everyone, and welcome to our Q&A presented by Just Love. My name is Paula Jane, and I'm talking to Judy Carroll. Judy is an internationally known author. Her books include The Zeta Message, Human by Day, Zeta by Night, Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, Lessons in History, and her two most recent books, both Kindle editions and both also available in German, An Interview with an Alien, Comments by an Undercover ET, and Cosmic Spirituality, Blending Religion and Science in Oneness from an Off-Planet Perspective. Hello, Judy.
Hi, Paula. Hi, everyone.
So in our last couple of episodes, we've been getting to know Airl from one of Judy's latest books, An Interview with an Alien, Comments by an Undercover ET. As we have discussed previously, Judy wrote this book as a commentary on editor-author Lawrence Spencer's book, Alien Interview. Lawrence Spencer claims to be quoting from notes put together by a military nurse by the name of Matilda McElroy. Airl is the name of a grey ET survivor of the Roswell crash who was taken captive by the military. Airl claims to be from a highly advanced off-planet culture that she refers to as the Domain Forces. She survived for several weeks and during this time gave out information on her own culture and also on the history of Earth. So Judy, when Airl was asked by Matilda, the military nurse, what planet are you from? Airl answered by saying, the home, birthplace, world of the domain. Can you tell us what she means by this answer?
Yes, Matilda got the impression that what Airl was referring to was not just a planet, a solar system, or a cluster of stars, but rather an enormous number of galaxies, and this is correct. What Airl calls the domain or realm is actually higher levels of what the Greys refer to as the human ladder. The Greys call them galactic levels because they are comprised of many galaxies. At the same time, they're not physical places, but rather higher frequency energy levels of expanding conscious awareness. I've talked about the human ladder many times, and descriptions and illustrations of it are in all my books. It's a path or cycle of human evolution across 10 ascending levels of expanding conscious awareness. So it's basically an illustration of universal consciousness. Here on Earth, which is at level 1 of the human ladder, the average person is able to access 10% of their potential conscious awareness. When a human evolves to level 2, 20% of potential conscious awareness will be able to be accessed. This can be seen in the so-called star children now being born on Earth, with a higher percentage of off-planet genetics and DNA in their makeup. Scientists are finding that some of these new humans are indeed developing a third strand of DNA, which enables greater consciousness mind expansion to take place. For further reading on this subject, I recommend Australian author-researcher Mary Rodwell's book, The New Humans. The domain cultures, which I know as the guardian realms, are even higher up the ladder, where 50% and upwards of conscious awareness can be accessed. They're way beyond the limited third-dimensional reality of Earth plane existence, and are much higher dimensions of the greater cosmic reality. These galactic levels vibrate at energy frequencies far beyond what can be measured on the electromagnetic scale recognised by science down here. The beings that inhabit these finer frequencies could be thought of as creator beings.
It seems to me that the illustration your tall grey teachers gave you on the human ladder conveys a huge amount of information, with much of it extending beyond 3D. It illustrates both our multidimensional nature and also oneness, doesn't it? Can you comment on this?
Oh my goodness, yes. When Oris first gave it to Helene Kaye and I, we were super excited. As Helene said at the time, she just wanted to shout it from the rooftops. It is complex and took a while for us to get our heads even partially around it, but it answers so many questions on human evolution. Trying to draw it in 3D was a problem, and I wanted to present it in our book, The Zeta Message, which we were writing at the time. So we jokingly asked for a crop circle to help us illustrate it and got the shock of our lives when they obliged.
So that's the one that was done in Milk Hillfield, Wiltshire on the 13th of August 2001, isn't it?
Yes, that's the one. We'd put our request out over June and July, and they did it in August. And they even provided a photo of it for the front cover of our book. This photo was taken by an Australian crop circle investigator by the name of Brett Parrott. Brett was then guided to contact me through our website in 2010, right at the time the Zeta Message was in production, and we were needing an illustration for the front cover. He kindly gave us permission to use his photo, taken from a helicopter at the time the glyph was made. And funnily enough, Brett had requested it as well, and upstairs it even played a little joke on him in connection with it, which I talk about in the book. When we wrote about it in the Zeta Message, we were expecting a response from UFO researchers, but not a one contacted us. Nobody seemed interested. By the time our third book, Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, was published in 2018, I was able to include more information, but still no response from the so-called researchers. As the authors of the Rendlesham Enigma book say, most of these researchers seem to have their own agendas, mostly sensationalist and negative, and nothing will shift them from that mindset. So, gotta laugh, their loss. And just like the code downloaded to Staff Sergeant Jim Penniston, one of the first responders to the downed off-planet craft in Rendlesham Forest in the UK, our crop circle delivers the very same message on expanding conscious awareness and oneness. According to Jim Penniston's co-author, Gary Osborne, an expert on code analysis, this is also echoed in a code found in the Great Pyramid at Giza.
Yeah, so this really ties in with the nurse Matilda McElroy's next question to the ETL when she asks, what are your intentions for Earth?
Precisely. The Greys are a very ancient culture, some of whom had their beginnings right here on Earth. They have now evolved into cosmic cultures on higher rungs of the human ladder. The role they carry out is teaching and guardianship of planetary cultures such as Earth-plane humanity, which is lower down on the human ladder. Earth is a free will planet, so they cannot come here and openly intervene, but they can provide messages and teachings for those who are open and ready to receive. Their message is simple. If you wish to evolve, choose love over fear. But they cannot force the issue. The choice is up to humanity.
Yes, choosing love over fear is the way. Judy, you have come here at this time as a dual soul to impart your knowledge during this most significant time of the shift. Planet Earth is experiencing a shift in consciousness and humanity is shifting with her. This poses many questions. Some of us are aware that our consciousness is expanding and we are seeing things differently. We are seeing even more clearly now how we've been controlled and manipulated all of our lives. But like you always say, we have to have the dichotomy of the light and dark to enable us to make that choice. I'd just like to point out here that I used the words light and dark, but in reality it's a higher, finer frequency and a lower, denser frequency that we're experiencing.
Exactly, Paula, and that's actually better terminology to use, because in the greater reality, the only difference that exists in the whole universe is the rate of energy frequency. In reality, there is no good and bad, light and dark, it's just different energy frequencies. This brings us back to the fact that everything, and I mean everything, is energy, pure and simple. And energy vibrates at different frequencies. It's the frequency of the energy that makes everything what it is. Vibrational frequency operates over what scientists down here refer to as the electromagnetic scale. The denser the energy, the lower it vibrates. This also applies to the energy frequency of our emotions. Fear vibrates on a very low frequency, and unconditional love vibrates on a very high frequency.
And as you mentioned earlier, when you were trying to get the UFO researchers to at least comment on the human ladder information in your book, all they seemed to be concerned was with the trappings of the 3D life. They all seemingly had their own agendas, mostly sensationalist and negative, and that's the mindset they're trapped in. This mindset seems to have been in place almost since the beginning of time, but now we can clearly see how this way of thinking is holding us back. We are seeing systems collapsing around us, and as we move into the higher, finer energy, with some transitioning smoothly and others not so smoothly, the divide now is very evident. COVID assisted in this divide. But like you always say, again, we have to have the dichotomy of energies to enable us to make the all-important choice of love over fear. My question here is to do with the division playing out in our lives. Some of us are experiencing this division in our families and have cause to want to know where this will lead. How will this eventually play out? Some of us are worried that we will lose special bonds and connections that we have lovingly built.
This won't happen unless it's meant to. All of us are following our own personal timelines, but on these various timelines are points which touch and synchronise with the timelines of those around us. Thus, we share many things within a family, a group of friends, or within a nation or culture. At the same time, not everything is the same. We create our individual timelines through the way we think and focus our minds. We don't all think in exactly the same way, so life will be different for each of us, and the way we perceive will be different and individual. What to one person may seem a disaster, so to another person it really won't mean that much, or it might even have pleasant connotations. We're all different, with different ideas, requirements and values. Accepting these differences and respecting the choice of others around us is a massively important part of our spiritual maturing process. The whole divide and conquer agenda used by the controllers is aimed at making our differences into points of contention. The key to our evolution is being able to move beyond this, to a place of acceptance and respect of differences. This is played out and tested continually on many levels, whether the point of contention is differences in culture and religion, which is what most wars are based on, right down to a person's physical appearance, language, what they choose to eat, vegetarian or non-vegetarian, wearing or not wearing face masks, etc., etc. These are all testing grounds aimed at gauging our level of spiritual maturity or lack thereof. The lesson we need to master is acceptance and respect for all.
Yes, it is Earth School after all, and we are here to learn, grow and evolve. We all have lessons to learn, so choose love. And remember, everything is playing out by divine design, always for our highest good and ultimate evolution. So, if you want to read more about all of this, I'd just like to remind you here that Judy's books are available from Amazon, or you can go directly through Judy's website, which is included in the link below. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and family and subscribe to this channel. And until next time, sending you all so much love. Thank you all for listening, and bye for now.